Hey guys, welcome back to the Impact Channel. My name is Hayden. We're going to talk a little bit more today about your dreams, short-term benefits, short-term negatives, long-term benefits, and long-term negatives. Let's get right in. So today's impact is going to be a little bit more focused on thinking long terms in terms of right to left. Now, what do I mean by right to left? Right to left thinking is thinking in the future to now. Thinking in terms of things that are going to benefit you in the long run compared to things that will benefit you in the short term. A lot of times people do the most that's going to benefit them now instead of later. If we can change our minds and think about things that are going to benefit us and take us closer to the dreams in the long run, we'll be a lot more successful in the long run instead of the short run. So let me tell you a little bit more about what I'm talking about. So here, short-term benefits, short-term negatives, long-term benefits, and long-term negatives. I always think about things in terms of these four things, right? Let's talk about different habits or different things that we're doing. For instance, let's say exercise. What are the short-term benefits to exercise? Well, maybe you have increased blood flow. Maybe you feel better. Let's talk about the short-term negatives of exercise. Maybe you're sore. Now let's look at the long-term benefits. Long-term benefits you're going to be a lot more healthy. You're going to feel a lot better. You could go even as far as saying feel and thinking better. What about the long-term negatives? Are there really any long-term negatives to exercising? I wouldn't say so, as long as you're doing it properly. All right, so let's hop into example number two. Number two, let's say you're eating out, you're going out to eat. What are the short-term benefits? Maybe you're saving a little bit of time. Maybe the food tastes better. Let's look at short-term negatives. Maybe you're gonna have less money. Maybe it's not as healthy. Maybe you don't feel as good. Some of you guys might have gas, who knows? Let's look at the long-term benefits of eating out. Are there really any long-term benefits of eating out? Now, is there a lot of long-term negatives with eating out? Maybe you gain weight. Maybe you spend a lot more money, right? So there's not a whole bunch of long-term benefits for eating out. Now let's look at another example. Example three. Let's say smoking or drinking. What are some of the short-term benefits of drinking? Maybe you have a fun time with friends. Short-term negatives, maybe you're hungover. Maybe you spent some money again. Or maybe if you're smoking and drinking, you feel better, less stressed. Now let's look at it in terms of long-term benefits. Long-term benefits of smoking and drinking, there's really not any, right? Let's look at long-term negatives. Maybe you have cancer, lots of money spent. I mean, we could go on and on, ... right? Now, let's look at number four, reading. Short-term benefits and short-term negatives. Maybe you spend a lot of time. Maybe the short-term benefits are you're keeping good things on your mind. Long-term benefits of reading are knowledge. Maybe you're just a little bit more sharp. Is there really any long-term negatives to reading? I wouldn't say so, right? So here's the biggest thing that you guys want to look at with habits or things that you do in your life. When you have something good that's going to benefit you in the long term, there typically isn't as many short-term negatives, right? When you look at things that are going to benefit you in the short term, but not the long term, they're probably not worth your time. So all the short-term benefits, they might be great, but the long-term benefits are really what we're looking for. So in your life, when you're thinking on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis, you want to think of things that are going to benefit you in the long run first before the short term, because those are the things that are going to get you a lot closer to the goals that you want to do, to the person that you want to be. A lot of people have a lot of good aspirations, but they don't have the drive to go out there and do it. Now let's talk about this thing, the difference between drive and aspiration. All right, two big things here that we always talk about. Aspirations are your dreams. Now, with aspirations, I can tell you one person in the world that doesn't want to be super rich, that doesn't want to be super successful. A lot of people have really big aspirations. Not everyone, but a lot of people are going to have a ton of really good aspirations or things that they wish to achieve in their life. Now, when it comes to drive is actually doing. Drive is actually doing what you need to do to get you to the point where you're successful in your life, to get you to the point where you can reach your dreams. A lot of people, let's just say 99%, don't have the drive that it takes to get to their dreams. They're not willing to give up what they need to give up to get to the point where they're doing what they need to be doing for the dreams. So when you look at long-term thinking or right to left thinking on a timeline, this is what it looks like. You got your dreams and you got the now. Your right to left thinking is always thinking in terms of where you want to be and what you have to do now to get there. So guys, I took this thing a little bit further for the guys that are in my office. I said, let's have an interview for yourself in the future. Now, I'm sure you're probably like, what the heck is going on there, Hayden? Well, what I mean is I sat these guys down in the conference room and I said, hey, 10 years from now, tell me who you're gonna be. We're gonna sit down and act like we're 10 years in the future. Tell me who you are, what you've done and where you're headed. And let's see what you have in mind. Let's see where your goals are. Let's see where your aspirations are so we can think and do on a day-to-day basis what we need to get closer to that goal. The more we're thinking about our dreams, the more likely we are to be able to reach those dreams and reach those accomplishments. So on a day-to-day basis, think about what you want to do.
Nice to meet you, Hayden.
Nice to meet you too. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
All right, well, 35 years old, been playing golf professionally for 2 years now.
Wow.
Just finished a stint on the European Tour and moving on to the PGA Tour for this upcoming season. Just launched my own charity called the Deadly Force Foundation. It's helping to combat cancer, and then half of the proceeds are also going to veterans and like helping them build golf courses, because that's really where I picked up the love for golf a lot. Being a veteran, you know, serving in the Navy, I was out at sea, so just kind of did a lot of soul searching. I found the two things I really like were teaching and golf. So I started out in Florida back in 2014, just learning the ins and outs of it, and that led to being able to play it.
What made you want to reach out and do a nonprofit that not only builds golf courses but helps to fight against cancer?
Well, my dad passed from cancer, so that's really where that comes from. You know, the team at Virginia Commonwealth University Medical Center really helped him. So I'm in a position now to where I can give to them, and I know it's going to good research. With the veterans, I know, you know, having a downtime, you know, you can get kind of itchy sometimes, but this is just something fun to do. I've played a lot of great courses that had, you know, were on military bases. So I just want to improve those even more, give veterans the opportunity day in and day out to play some top-notch courses.
Do you build tournaments that help you raise money for your foundation, or how do you create the
Yeah, we do everything from silent auctions, you know, auction off some gear that I've used throughout the day, some signed merchandise. We also do host tournaments. You know, we do have a couple investors that help us out on that end type of stuff. Right now we're working with Blue Raven Solar, the leading solar company, so we do a lot of work with them and stuff.
What is your next plan for the next course that you're building?
Next plan, I think we're going to go to Pax River, Maryland. I was stationed there, and I kind of would like to start my biggest challenge there. It's a great course, great setup. The wind is constantly always changing, so I want to build the course to kind of play to that. And one of the cool things is a couple of the holes run straight down one of the runways. So you can be teeing off, and you'll have to wait and see jets flying by. So it's a very cool experience, bridging the military and golf out there.
Is your big plan to keep on building courses around the stations all across the country?
Yeah, as the opportunity presents itself, and you know, when the time comes, I'll start, you know, coordinating with the bases and, you know, basically giving them the upgrade for it.
So that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about the cancer research and development side of things.
So the biggest thing, I know there's a bad stigma around like Western medicine and big pharma and stuff like that. You know, it is modern medicine that helped my dad stay alive as long as he did. So I want to be able to help kind of push that a little bit and, you know, advance the research, because I don't want someone else going through what I had to go through.
Juwan, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. With yourself?
Great. Always getting better.
Good.
Tell me a little bit about what you're doing now.
I'm a forensic scientist. I've been doing this for about 5 years or so. What kind of piqued my interest is I think a lot of people are getting convicted wrongly. So find the right DNA, actually studying and things like that. It's kind of been my passion. So.
Is there any legal precedents or anything that you have to follow to make sure that you double check all these cases you feel might not be?
Well, for one, I have to talk to a judge to get jurisdiction in certain areas, things like that, to make sure I double check everything. So that at first it's going to be a lot of work. Once I get all progressed and settled, I'm going to have my little team of probably 3 or 4 more forensic scientists, maybe 2 lawyers, guys that just handle the paperwork here and there. So that's what I plan on doing.
So are you doing this in one state, a couple states, or is it only in Ohio that you're doing this now?
Doing in like 3 different states, Ohio, Florida, New York.
So why so spread out? Why so far out?
I just feel like there's been a lot of violence and killings and things like that. For example, Florida has, once you get like convicted of murder, you do life in prison or it's a death penalty with Florida. But a lot of people might not do it, and for something that's wrongfully looked at, you might mess up your entire life being at the wrong place, wrong time.
I love it.
Just trying to do something for the crowd.
Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you
Jawan.
so
It was
much.
Really nice talking
All right.
to you.
Thanks, Hayden. I'll see you next time, all right?
See you next time.
All right, guys. So I hope you liked the little interviews that we had. It gives our guys a really great way to think in the future and to think about where they want to go. And I hope you guys can do the same. Today, here's what I'm gonna give as a challenge for you guys. Out here in the comments, if you love this, drop a little bit about what you want to do in the future, about who you feel like you'd be in the future. Let me know. I'd love to reach back out to you guys and tell you what I think and help you guys think in terms of your future to now. Thank you so much for having us. Can't wait to see you next time on the Impact Channel.
Or is it only in Ohio that you're doing this now?
3 different states, Ohio, Florida, New York, and Chicago.
State of Chicago.
Here, I just said Chicago.
You will.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I just said Chicago.
That was good.